Hey everyone, we're back for more rewrite goodness. This is the conclusion episode for the Border Dispute mini-arc. The ramifications of this arc will carry forth into future arcs, as it is quite a pivotal moment in my version of events. Up until now, the Genin have had relatively peaceful lives with relatively normal missions. They haven't felt any tension at all, but now that tension has tightened and snapped in a matter of hours. Their world has changed, and such a stark whiplash can be hard to adjust to. The Jonin who've known this war in the past will take it in stride, but the Genin who've known only a relatively unperturbed world are going to adapt by force. Let's get into it. After several minutes of arm waving, Neji manages to get Hinata's attention. With her Byakugan, Hinata had been focused on the nearest threats to the group, while Kurenai received first aid. Neji in the forest beyond was the last thing she was worrying about. However, the moment she noticed his arm waving, she focused a little bit more on him and realized who he was. As all ninja know silent hand gestures, Neji was able to signal a request for reinforcements. Conveying the rudimentary message to Asuma and Kurenai, Hinata returns to focusing on nearer threats. Asuma wonders why Team 7 are behind enemy lines to begin with, and Hinata clarifies that there is a fifth person with them that she doesn't know. Kurenai tells Asuma and her team that while she's injured, she's a liability to any mission's success, so they are to pull out. Shino agrees, as Choji is still wrecked with the misplaced guilt of watching a friendly die. Sakura, though, insists that she can still bring great advantage to the team. Asuma says it's unconventional to move as a 5-person team, but agrees that her genjutsu would certainly be helpful. Kurenai tells Asuma that it's up to him, but should the imbalance lead to less protection for Sakura, then it's a bad idea. He grunts and reassures Kurenai that one more genin won't make it impossible to protect everyone in the team. After it's decided, Shino helps Choji up, and Kurenai limps after them as they head back to the outpost that Asuma's team had previously been in charge of protecting. Considering his team hasn't seen any action yet, Asuma directs them and Sakura to follow him. He gets Hinata to signal to Neji that help is coming. However, he thinks that they can't just run through the chaos, so leads them west further along the border. After the fighting has thinned to nearly non-existent, he decides it's a much safer space for them to cross. However, they're immediately ambushed by fresh stone ninja who have been waiting for some action to get to their postings. Asuma directs the genin to a cover as he leaps to meet the stone's ambush head-on. Sakura doesn't do exactly as he says, throwing a shuriken and projecting it into 100 with genjutsu. She tells the team to throw their shuriken as well so the enemy would be unable to tell real from fake. Via shuriken alone, the genin shred one of the 3 ambushers. As Asuma fights to dispatch the other 2, the genin flee to cover again. Asuma tells Sakura afterward that she's going to be even more useful than he first thought, and she blushes. Reaching the other side, they follow Hinata's directions and reunite with Team Kakashi. Hayate nods at their arrival, noting that 3 Jonin and 7 Genin should be enough to liberate this village. He notes that the 7 Genin, if their teamwork is cohesive, are probably about equal to 1 Jonin. This earns disgruntled looks from the Genin and some confusion from Kakashi and Asuma. Asuma notes that Hayate must have been gone from the village for a very long time to not recognize the prodigies of the Hyuga and Uchiha present. Hayate holds up a hand and tells them that he's not here to be impressed by children. Sasuke tells him that he'd be shocked if Hayate could beat him in a fight, frustrated and impudent by the constantly dismissive comments. Hayate agrees. An unarmed Jonin who's been starved and had no sleep for the last week probably wouldn't put up much of a fight. This leads to Sasuke wondering why the mission's even continuing if the last surviving Jonin is currently weaker than the Genin he's so derisive about. Hayate tells him that the mission is greater than any of them. An entire village is in danger, as well as the threat of the stone taking over the land of grass. He could have all the bones in his body broken, and Hayate would still insist on continuing the mission for the sake of the leaf. Asuma tells everyone to cool down. If such a large group stays stationary for so long, they're bound to be discovered. And so between Hinata and Neji, they're guided through the woods without alerting the stone of their presence. They've outrun the fire and have found the western edge of the forest. Now upon the crest of a hill, they're able to take cover and look down upon the village that Hayate and his team were charged with liberating. Neji tells them that he can see 12 stone ninja patrolling the streets. All the residents are being kept indoors, and there's this unnatural quiet upon the village. Kakashi reminds them that the more time they can observe, the better. Hinata points out that there's one person who doesn't appear to be a ninja outside. Neji glances at her, surprised that she saw something before he did. I don't imagine someone using their Byakugan actually glances in the conventional sense. Within his range of vision, he can also see Hinata crouching beside him. He wouldn't even have to turn his head to glance at her. Kinda creepy. This 13th person seems to be tending to flowers in the streets. Neither Hinata or Neji can determine whether it's a villager or a ninja. It makes logical sense to them that it's a villager, but why only one's allowed outside is a little bit strange. Switching to planning their move, the Jonin decide to split the genin amongst them. Since Tenten is training to be a weapon master, they decide that she's to go with Hayate to help supply him with weapons. As it is, all the genin have shared a portion of their weapons with Hayate, so he has something to fight with. Considering Hayate is a little rough around the edges right now, Neji, the genin with the highest grades from Academy, is assigned to him. Neji can provide the Byakugan for planned ambushing, as well as being a strong taijutsu fighter. Hinata is assigned with Asuma for the same reasons. Her Byakugan will allow them to follow the movements of the stone ninja so they can single them out and silently dispatch them. Shikamaru is also with him so that his intellect can streamline where Asuma goes. As the stronger and better equipped Jonin, Asuma agrees to genin with slightly smaller chakra pools as he would balance them out. And you guessed it, this leaves Kakashi with Sasuke, Sakura, and Naruto. What a happy accident! However, Kakashi's group isn't to do the covert assassinations. They are to offer reinforcement if anyone discovers Hayate or Asuma's groups. So Hayate takes Neji and Tenten with him to the north side of the village. Meanwhile, Asuma takes Shikamaru and Hinata to the south side of the village. In this way, they can lead a pincer move against the Stone Ninja, and should one of them be discovered, they wouldn't so easily be flanked. Kakashi and his three are to set up on the eastern outskirts of the village and just wait. Only if the plan goes awry will Kakashi and his modified genin leap into action. Ideally, the other two teams will dispatch all the ninja and go on to liberate the village in the smoothest way possible. Signaling to each other, Hayate's group and Asuma's group get to work simultaneously. While they begin their work, Naruto grumbles quietly that he's put with a group that doesn't get to see any action. Sakura tells him it's not about the action, they're trying to save an entire village of innocents. He tells her that he saw just how much she blushed when Asuma complimented her, so she can't just be here to rescue a village. She wants to earn even more credit and congratulations, but how can she do that if she's just waiting in cover doing nothing? Sakura grumbles and tells him he's an idiot if he thinks that's all anyone wants. Sasuke turns to them both and tells them to shut up. He can't believe nothing's changed since Academy. They still argue with each other like the children they are. Haven't they matured at all? Don't they understand that completing a mission perfectly will get them the recognition they both seem so desperate for? Glaring at Sasuke, Sakura and Naruto both tell him that he's no different. Kakashi finally butts in and tells all three that they can chat at any other time. They've chosen that one window of time when they should be silent to talk. If they're discovered, he reminds them that it won't matter how much any of them have been recognized, because they wouldn't make it back home for any of that. Kind of scared straight, all three quiet down and wait for the signal to reinforce. Distracted by an uncomfortable poke to her side, Sakura looks at Naruto and mouths the word "what" to him. Pulling out his dad's kunai, Naruto hands it to her. He whispers that it came in useful on the previous mission when he gave it to Tenten, so it might again now. She asks him what to do with it, and he says to just hang on to it. Almost reaching the center of the village, from the north side, Hayate has had great success with dispatching the Stone Ninja. Having taken out 5 already, he peeks around a corner and blindly reaches behind for Tenten to hand him another kunai. Though she dutifully hands one to him, he's still shaking a little bit from the residual weakness of being jailed for so long and fumbles. The kunai falls and clatters on the stone path, drawing the instant attention of the remaining stone ninja in the silent village. Their liberation plan has shifted from covert to overt, from Phase 1 to Phase 2, and Kakashi's team spring into action. As they charge, Sakura tells Naruto to transform into Sasuke, and she does the same. She tells them to attack as normal, as she projects several genjutsu clones of herself as Sasuke. Now a dozen Sasukes charge at the nearest stone ninja. Though the ninja recognizes the elusive clones, he doesn't catch the two real people among them, allowing for Naruto to throw a series of unblocked strikes. Battered but unflinching, the ninja turns to Naruto as Sasuke leaps at the man and digs a kunai into the top of his shoulder. As the man reels, Sasuke throws a great fireball at him that's large enough to take up the full width of the street. Desperate for action, Naruto leaps after the fireball so that the man can't recover at all. As his body emerges from the fireball's other side, Naruto catches him with a knee to the face. Following this, Naruto uses all the strength he can muster to disable one of the man's arms. He's sloppier than Sasuke would have been, but his efforts leave the ninja open for Sasuke to land the finishing blow. Kakashi deals with the second ninja, and the third arrives behind Sakura, who's behind the group. Before he can apprehend her, Naruto uses Flying Raijin to appear at her side, and throws his dad's kunai high into the air. Performing the hand seals again, Naruto vanishes as the kunai begins to fall, and the stone ninja swings at air. With the added momentum of gravity, Naruto falls down, copying Sasuke's previous strike and impaling the stone ninja on the top of the shoulder. Shocked by the vanishing and reappearing Naruto, coupled with the substantial attack, the ninja has no time to react to Sasuke's finishing blows. When the three turn around, they see Kakashi being overwhelmed by a tall man with bindings around his head. I like to think of Goku from Dragon Ball, with this picture for reference. He's also wearing shaded glasses, but he's no stone ninja. Sasuke wastes no time in charging to assist Kakashi, conjuring the stone boulder yet again and forcing the man to release Kakashi. Breaking into a sweat, Sasuke realizes that he's used up too much chakra and backs up for Kakashi to once again lead the charge. The man performs several quick hand seals to conjure spikes of stone from the ground. Kakashi's group only evades damage from Kakashi's quick order to jump as he sees them emerging. The surviving stone ninja are impaled and killed from the seemingly desperate move. Hayate and his genin are safely atop a rooftop. Only Asuma and his team are on the ground when the jutsu is performed, but Hinata luckily spots them before they've emerged and gotten the team to safety. As the survivors reel from the jutsu, the ninja then creates a flood of water from nothing that spills throughout the village. Leaping to stay on top of the water, the villainous man conjures oil that slicks out across the water's surface and ignites it. Charging across rooftops, Hayate launches an assault against the ninja. Stopping the charge in its place, this man outmatches Hayate in taijutsu and employs Gentle Fist against him? Chakra points sealed, Hayate is forced to make an attempted retreat as Kakashi and Asuma leap in to assist. Thrusting in with his chakra blades, Asuma catches the man in the face, dismantling his glasses and leaving a cut across the bridge of his nose. Kakashi spears toward the man with a raikiri that burns through the bindings around the man's head, freeing his hair. As the man looks up at the two new assailants, Kakashi and Asuma are startled by his appearance. Not only does he share the brilliant red hair of the Uzumaki clan, but he has a Sharingan in his right eye? But he also used the techniques known only to members of the Hyuga clan? Realizing the danger of being in close proximity with a Sharingan user, Kakashi attempts to create distance. But the man is already a step ahead, conjuring a blanket of violent lightning that catches both and brings them to their knees. With the Jonin down for the count, the Genin panic on what to do next. Sasuke is too tired to mount any kind of attack, and Sakura too has used too much Genjutsu. Hinata and Shikamaru can only watch in hiding. Both know that they don't have what it takes to even buy time for their Jonin leaders to escape. Tenten is all out of weapons from passing them off to Hayate, and Neji knows he can't do anything alone. Naruto seriously considers charging in. He knows that if he becomes too injured, the fox will try to take control of him, and maybe that added savagery would be able to push the man away. But at the same time, he'd be a danger to everyone else. The red-headed man looks around at the kids that are frozen in fear and he begins to perform another jutsu. Before he finishes, a leg smashes into the side of his head and he is sent far, as Lady Tsunade stands over the disabled Kakashi and Asuma. Beside her stand Lord Jiraiya and Lord Orochimaru. Pulling himself to his feet, the man realizes the Sannin have all appeared. There's a moment of indecision on his face, as if he's seriously considering fighting all three of them. Without any hand seals, the man conjures another explosion with the same intensity that triggered the border war and vanishes in the chaos created. Tsunade tends to everyone's injuries as Jiraiya cleans up the remnants of the man's jutsu uses, and Orochimaru questions the Jonin on who the red-haired man was. When Naruto asks them how they got there so quickly, Orochimaru hisses in annoyance. Since Jiraiya is often sent deep behind enemy lines, Minato had the other Sannin sign a contract with him so he could summon them if his life was ever in danger. Jiraiya had received the summons to return to the village, and as he traveled back through the land of Earth, heard about the border dispute. His life wasn't in danger, and Jiraiya knows that he'll catch flack from the other Sannin for summoning them. It carries serious consequences in the event that Tsunade is in the middle of surgery or Orochimaru is interrogating someone. But for such a serious historical moment, he prays to them in person for a tad bit of forgiveness. Orochimaru tells Jiraiya that he'll deal with him later. For now, he'll go on ahead and eradicate any straggler stone ninja in the Land of Grass. Might as well help now that he's here. He also tells Jiraiya that he was literally in a meeting with Minato when he got summoned, and Jiraiya goes pale. Tsunade says Jiraiya is at least half lucky, as she was simply reading at the time. The ultimate point to Jiraiya having this unique perk is that he's too important an asset to lose behind enemy lines. Of course, if he were ever in such a dire circumstance that even the other two Sannin couldn't save him, he's equally responsible to actively not summon them. There are almost never any occasions that all three Sannin together would be unable to handle it. However, there are clearly dangerous people out there in the world. Tsunade and Jiraiya tell the Jonin and Genin to return home with the reports while the Sannin clean up the mess. Finding that relief squads have arrived along the Land of Fire's border, Kakashi and Asuma lead their teams safely across and into home territory. After a little bit of traveling, they reunite with Kurenai and her team, and the collective three teams take some time to relax. Looking back at the border in the distance, it surprises them how much of the forest was burned away by the fire already. Kakashi remarks that he wouldn't have known what to do had, interrupting him, a panting Guy arrives with his Genin straggling behind. "Don't worry, Kakashi," Guy declares, "we've come to help!" And that's the end of today's episode. I really wanted to go on, but this is a long one already. Unfortunately, Guy and his team didn't make it in time. To be honest, I never had a plan for them to take part, other than showing up comedically late. Additionally, I didn't want the Sannin show up to feel like an asshole. Characters being saved from a doomed situation in a sudden way from a very powerful character is a dangerous thing to do narratively. It can make the characters feel unkillable, I get that, but I needed a showy reveal of one of my antagonists, and I didn't want the first reveal of this character to be weak. They need to obviously be mysterious, but also powerful. And I know what a lot of people's first guess will be in regards to who this is. Just keep in mind that I have a couple made up characters to fill in the blanks of my rewrite as well. This concludes my mini arc, which introduced a heated return of the war proper. Other than what the main characters were doing, I didn't want it to be clear who was winning this exchange. I wanted the fodder of both sides to be kind of balanced, so I tried not to focus on what they were doing. Of course, the involvement of the Sannin will radically alter the winning side to that of the Leaf. So this red-haired man holds secrets of several clans of the Hidden Leaf. We've got some leads that will be explored in the episodes to come. Until then, the sky's the limit.